Hey folks, this is Abel James, and thanks so much for joining us on the Fat Burning Man Show, where we talk about real food and real results. Is the artificial light from your phone, tablet, or computer messing with your sleep? Or maybe a better question is, how good is your sleep right now? 1 through 10. If you're not at a 10, there's a lot of room for improvement. And also, if you want to nail your health, you've got to get your sleep down. Now, on top of that, we're also going to be talking about taking a little break from alcohol. And it doesn't have to be something where you're an addict or you're going through programs or what have you. Today's guest, in fact, was more of a social drinker who decided to take a break, and then some interesting things happened. And as I've mentioned on this show, Allison and I took a break from alcohol a few months ago, and it's turned into over 6 months of just not drinking at all. And it's interesting how that happens. Not to say that we'll never drink again, but there are a lot of changes that become obvious kind of the longer that you go on this little kick of taking a break from something that is a toxin, something that is a depressant. So James Swanwick is here. He's the Australian-American entrepreneur, author, speaker, podcast host, and co-founder of Swanwick Sleep, who makes those cool Swannie glasses. Now, before we get to the show, let's hear the review of the week. This one is from Trish, who says, "My family and I went wild in March, and the results are incredible. We will be joining the Wild Tribe soon and sharing the physical changes there. The Fat Burning Man is the perfect complement to anyone looking to get informed on thriving in this life, not just surviving. You can tell how much him and his wife pour into the work they do, and we appreciate that hard work. The guests are informative and often have great perspective on life, wellness, both physical and mental, and are easy and a fun listen." Well, Trish, thank you so much for writing in. The thing that I love I love that you're getting wonderful results, but I also love to hear when people get their family involved, and I know how challenging that can be, and oftentimes it takes time and a lot of patience and a lot of being gentle instead of aggressive when the way that you're eating or living is different from the people around you. So when you can get people around you excited or be that example for them that makes them want to make positive changes in their life, it's you could not overemphasize how important that is. Because if people kind of want to get healthy, it's not going to happen. You really need to want it. You need to be ready. And so to the extent that you can, being contagiously healthy is a really, really good thing. So kudos to you, Trish. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much for the kind words. We do work very, very hard on this show, and probably you see more of mine, but Allison probably works even harder than I do. Certainly sometimes she does behind the scenes to make sure that all of this is coming to you. And it seems like it would be kind of a simple thing just to watch a video of some dude talking or listen to some audio, but it's a lot of work. 95% of it has nothing to do with when I'm on screen or being recorded. So I really appreciate you recognizing that it is a lot of hard work, but we believe in it so much. We're very happy to work hard. This provides meaning to our lives as well. So if you have a story to share, then please get in touch. If you've been listening to the show for a while, if you read my book or watched that silly TV show I was on or anything else, all you have to do is go to fatburningman.com, sign up for the newsletter, hit a reply to that email, or just email me at abel@fatburningman.com. Now, obviously, due to volume, I can't reply to every single one, but I read every single one that I can, and they go straight to the heart. So be gentle with me if you can. Now, also, I just want to quickly mention we've been doing a lot of other shows as well. I've made a whole lot of virtual reality and 360 live looping music videos, as well as educational virtual reality 360-degree adventures of wacky places around North America and increasingly the world. If you want to check out any of that stuff, be sure to go to abeljames.com. That's ABEL James.com. And I'll be posting a brand new, or more accurately, Allison will be posting a brand new 360-degree VR video every day for the next year. New video in VR every day for the next year. So We're building up a huge library of this stuff. And if you do have the cool VR goggles, then you can even see a behind the scenes tour of my studio here where I record this show. It's really messy right now. I'm glad I don't have the VR set up. But you can see some cool behind the scenes content that you wouldn't otherwise catch. So abeljames.com for that. Fatburningman.com for all of this show and the health related content. And then if you'd like to support all of the cool stuff that we're making, then go to wildsuperfoods.com for the health supplements that Allison and myself have been taking for years, that, every time you purchase from there, it directly supports this show. And we just launched this year. It's going well. People seem to really enjoy it. And, it's just kind of one step closer, especially with Future Greens, to helping to feed the world, because we would like to help physically feed people as well as educate some of you as well, and weed through all that misinformation and toxic food out there. So thanks for your support. Check out wildsuperfoods.com. Right now, it's only in the U.S., hopefully international soon. All right, on to the show. In this episode with James Swanwick, we're chatting about the psychological effects of light, specifically blue light, how to socialize without drinking booze, what taking a break from alcohol looks like for James and me, and you'll even see a little mini fashion show of some of the worst looking glasses and dirtiest blue blocking glasses that I have in my studio right now. All right, let's go hang out with James. This is a fun one. Hope you like it. All right, folks, Mr. James Swanwick is an entrepreneur, podcast host, and author of the 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge. He's all that and more, folks. I'm really psyched that you're here, James. Thanks for coming on the show.
Abel, awesome to be here, mate. Thanks for having me.
It's been a few years, but you've been doing a lot of great work from a ton of different directions. So let's just start with your 30-day experiment. Not drinking alcohol as a social drinker, not necessarily as an alcoholic or anything like that. I've had fun reading through your book, and I'd love to hear you kind of explain it in your own words.
Yeah, well, I was a social drinker, but I grew up in Australia, which is a very heavy drinking culture there. And so it was just normal to, 18th birthday party, get drunk, 21st birthday party, get drunk. And then through my 20s and early 30s, backyard barbecues with friends, have a few beers. At nighttime, might have a couple glasses of red wine with dinner. Nothing too serious. But then it just kind of like caught up with me. I remember I was in Austin, Texas. I was at the South by Southwest Festival in 2010, and I had 2 gin and tonics at this industry party on a Friday night. And I was staying in a hotel just outside of Austin, about 20 minutes outside. And I woke up the next morning and I just felt average. Like I'd realized that I'd put on about 20 pounds over a year, 18 months. My face looked weathered. I didn't sleep particularly well. And I just said to myself, you know what? I'm going to take a break for 30 days from alcohol because this is obviously slowing me down. It's not putting me in the gutter or ruining my life,
sure, but
it's just keeping me stuck at like a 6 out of 10. And so I said, let's just see what happens after 30 days. I quit for 30 days. I lost 13 pounds of fat.
Wow.
My skin got better. I slept better. I had more clarity and focus. I started attracting a higher caliber of person into my life. I ended up getting this amazing dream job hosting SportsCenter on ESPN, right, which I credit from being alcohol-free and having energy.
Yeah. And
I just said, you know what, I'll just keep on going and see what happens. And I haven't drunk since. So I haven't drunk since 2010.
Wow. Congratulations. But I think it was after 1 year, you mentioned in your book what happened. You were going to celebrate, right? And you go and get a Budweiser or something like that. Tell us what happened.
Well, I was back at the South by Southwest Festival in 2011, exactly 1 year to the day. And I went to this pub, which is closed now, called the Luster Pearl.
Oh, I remember Luster Pearl, yeah.
Yeah, on Rainey Street.
Of course.
And I walked in there and I went to the bar and I ordered a Bud Light. And the bartender gave it to me, and I had every intention of celebrating 1 year alcohol free. And I smelt it. It smelt pretty good. And I went to put it up to my lips, and then right at the moment before I started to drink it, I had this thought in my head, and the thought was, hang on a second. In 1 year, you've lost 20 pounds. You have the body that nature intended you to have. You have amazing new friends. You're hosting a television show on ESPN, which you've credited from being alcohol-free to landing you that position. You've got more energy. You're sleeping better. Like you've created a side business. Life is just simply better without alcohol. And it like all of those thoughts came into my mind. And so I put the Bud Light down. I called the bartender over and I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to have it. And I ordered a water, ice, and a piece of lime instead, which was my favorite drink. And I just kept going alcohol free. And like I said, I haven't drunk since. For me, it was just this realization that life is simply better without alcohol.
Let's dig into that a little bit, and I'll add some background too. My wife and I, and I've mentioned this on the show before, but like I take breaks from the internet, I take breaks from alcohol too, and kind of like you did, it's not for any particular space of time. It's not for forever. It's just kind of like let's just take a break for a while. You know, a lot of times it's when I'm having trouble sleeping. Like right now, for example, we're living up in the mountains, but we're not living too far from a place where they park all of the buses for the school, which means at like 5:30 in the morning, beep, 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 times 200 all at the same time, just like an alarm. And so anyway, I had been drinking a bit of wine and some other things that I enjoy drinking, not a whole bunch. But once that started happening and my sleep was getting ravaged, I'm like, all right, let's just not drink for a while. And my wife, Allison, was raised Mormon. They don't drink. And so she did during her 20s. I really introduced her to the joys and the lows of drinking. And so anyway, I think it was last October, we're just like, let's take a break. And here we are more than 6 months later, and we haven't touched alcohol, haven't thought about it, you know, have had plenty of opportunities, but it's just like, no, it feels really good to not right now. And one thing that I can say I'm enjoying is the difference between how you feel in the morning. Because you could say that you're not hungover if you had one or two drinks the night before, but compare that to not drinking for 2 weeks and waking up in the morning, completely different feeling. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so let's just say you have one seemingly innocent glass of wine at nighttime after a day at work to seemingly reduce your stress and anxiety. Now, that one seemingly innocent glass of wine or beer or drink or whatever is enough to compromise your sleep. Mm-hmm. Now, some people say, well, hang on a second, I have the drink and it relaxes me and I tend to, fall asleep easier because I have the drink. Now, that may in fact be true. However, your sleep quality is compromised. So when you have, like alcohol is a toxin, okay? It is. It's a toxin. And your body has to work to break that toxin down. So when you have that drink, your sleep is just a little bit compromised. And then when you wake up, you're just a little bit irritable. And when you're a little bit irritable, you tend to be a little bit late for work. Or you tend to sometimes just say, I'll skip working out this morning. Or you snap at your husband or your wife or your kids, or you get into traffic and then you get irritated by the person who cut you off on traffic. Or maybe you get frustrated because you're waiting in line at the supermarket because the person in front of you is taking too long. Or maybe at work, because you're just a little bit tired and irritable, you reach for a sugary drink to try and give you an energy boost because you didn't sleep very well. And so now you're drinking like a Gatorade with sugar in it, or you're having a Kit Kat at 10:30, or you're having a bagel or something to give you that temporary energy boost because you didn't sleep very well. And unbeknownst to you, it was probably because you had that seemingly innocent glass of wine at nighttime. So your whole day, your happiness, your productivity, your efficiency can be severely compromised by this one seemingly innocent glass of alcohol.
To some degree, the way I think about it is taking a little bite out of your future. It's stealing just a little slice of your possibilities and opportunities for the next day or even couple of days, depending on how much you tie one on. And one thing that's so problematic, and I'm sure you can definitely comment on this, is that in the social culture that we live in, whether you're talking about Australia, or Great Britain, or America, certainly the Western world, there is hardly anywhere you can go that's adult oriented anyway, that doesn't have alcohol. That alcohol is the pinnacle of almost every cultural event it seems like we have. And so how do you navigate that when you decide to be someone who simply just doesn't drink that toxin?
Yeah. Just before I give you a couple of tips on that, it's interesting. The word alcohol actually comes from an Arabic term, and it's alcohol, and what that means is body-eating spirit.
Is that right? I didn't realize that.
Body-eating spirit is what the Arabic term alcohol means, and that's how we came up with that. So literally every time that you have alcohol, you're eating away at your body.
Well, I've read that's why they call it spirits as well, is because it's easier to become possessed when you drink hard alcohol. Which, whether you believe in that or not, if you've seen an angry drunk, then it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting as well. The World Health Organization says there is not any amount of alcohol that is healthy for you. Like alcohol is simply, it has detrimental effects on you. Even if, society, everyone, we're all smiling and going, oh, let's have a nice, enjoyable glass of wine. That's fine. Like, you can smile and say it doesn't affect you, but it does affect you. Like, the World Health Organization literally has done studies on this. Not any amount of alcohol is beneficial to you. Now, getting back to the social situations, I get this question more than anything, which is pretty amazing. How do you socialize without alcohol? How do you network? How do you do business deals?
Isn't that a strange question? It just freaks me out thinking about it, how weird of a question that is.
Isn't it? But that's how indoctrinated we are. Yeah. Like society. I call the people who are smiling at us and encouraging us to drink, I call them smiling assassins. It's the waiter or waitress who comes over at the beginning of your meal on a restaurant and says, oh, can I get you started with some drinks? What would you like? And they're smiling. It's like, oh, that's a smiling assassin. They're trying to kill me with this toxin. It's the friends who you meet up with. Oh, let's meet up for drinks. Hey, how are you? Let me grab you a drink. What would you like? Do you want a beer? Do you want a wine? It's the smiling assassin. Like there's smiling assassins everywhere. Here's what I coach people on when it comes to those social environments. The way that you tell people that you are alcohol free is far more important than the words that actually come out of your mouth. Okay, so if you say it with a smile on your face and you're lighthearted about it, you even make fun of yourself being alcohol free, then people drop their pressure. They drop this idea that they're trying to, like, go on, just have one. If you can look at it and look at alcohol as you're not depriving yourself of something fun or pleasurable by being alcohol free, and you can present to people that you are not depriving yourself of something fun or pleasurable, then people let it go. I'll give you two scenarios. Here's one. Someone says, hey, can I get you a drink? Here's one scenario. Oh, no, thanks. I'm not drinking at the moment. No, I can't. I'm taking a break. And they say, go on, just have one. You'll be fine. Go on, have some fun. We're out. Oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. And so now your energy feels like you're depriving yourself of something fun. And if you feel that energy, you will always continue to drink. And you'll always feel that negative energy, okay? And people will always keep pressuring you to have a drink because they think that you're depriving yourself of something fun and pleasurable. Here's the second scenario. Person says, hey, can I get you a drink? No, actually, I don't drink. I'm not drinking at the moment. Grab me a soda water. That'd be great. And they say, oh, you're not drinking. So, no, I just decided to take a break. Or I'm good. I'm actually good alcohol-free at the moment. But watch me get drunk on this soda water. I'm going to go crazy tonight. And you just make a little joke about it. You're just lighthearted about it. People drop this pressure. And not only that, you feel a drop in the pressure. That pressure just kind of like falls to the wayside. So the way that you explain that you're alcohol free, being open and fun and lighthearted and positive, is so much more important than saying, "Oh no, I'm not drinking at the moment."
Mm-hmm. That is so powerful, because that's what socializing is, and I think it is somewhat fair to call them assassins, whether they mean to or not. That's the effect that they can have on someone who who is challenging themselves or maybe struggling with not drinking in social situations. And for me, like as a musician for years in Austin, I was paid in alcohol and tips. You know what I mean? It's like it's so ingrained in the culture. It's ingrained in the music. But one interesting thing that people may not realize that comes up in your book a number of times is how many familiar actors and actresses and faces that they see on television or in movies do not drink at all, or at least quit long ago. Can you, I guess, fill us in about that?
Yeah. So Bradley Cooper, one of the world's greatest, one of the world's most famous Hollywood actors.
Sure.
He doesn't drink. In fact, I used to be a journalist who interviewed movie stars for a living in the 2000s, and I actually interviewed Bradley Cooper when he was promoting the film The Hangover, which was his first breakout role. Yeah, I was in a hotel in Beverly Hills in Los Angeles. I think it was the SLS Hotel. That's right, SLS Hotel on La Cienega, and I was drinking at the time. So this was about must have been 2007, 2008, maybe 2009, somewhere around there. And I was a social drinker still. And I remember sitting down and I was interviewing him about The Hangover. And he told me, he goes, "Yeah, no, I don't drink." And I was like, "What?" Like I was shocked. I was like, "What? You don't drink?" And I'll tell you what my inner story was. My inner dialogue was, this is not a guy I'd want to hang out with.
Right. This guy doesn't drink. He goes to bed early.
I know. And I was literally in my head judging him totally. I'm like, ugh, I'm not going to hang out with this guy.
Right.
And then he went on to explain that, he drank too much, and it culminated in one infamous night in LA where he banged his head on a concrete floor, and he woke up the next day and he said, "That's it, I'm done." And he hasn't drunk since.
Wow.
Chris Martin from Coldplay, same thing. When I realized Chris Martin didn't drink, I was like totally judging him and going, "Oh, that's not a guy I'd want to have a beer with." And then depending on your politics, President Donald Trump has never had one sip of alcohol. His brother actually was an alcoholic and died from alcoholism.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, so President Trump hasn't drunk alcohol. Calvin Harris used to drink heavily, but now doesn't drink. Russell Brand, the comedian, doesn't drink. A few of these people, they had real serious drinking problems, and they really let it get to them. Mm-hmm. In terms of lifestyle choices, who's that woman? Sorry, instead of someone who wasn't really an alcoholic or didn't have huge problems, but choosing to go alcohol-free, Kristen Davis, actress from Sex and the City. She played Charlotte in the Sex and the City series. She's just chosen to remain alcohol-free. And I think Tyra Banks also has chosen to be alcohol-free as well. So there's a real... there's a real movement that I have noticed, particularly in the last few years, where people are actually saying, I don't have to be an alcoholic to quit drinking. Yeah. I can actually just be a healthy, generally healthy, occasional social drinker to quit drinking, and I get all of these amazing benefits from it.
Yeah. And maybe it would be different if we didn't live in such a toxic world where we're being assaulted from all sides, whether we're talking about the water we're drinking, the unclean air, the terrible food, any of that. All of it adds up to how you're sleeping, how your metabolism is working. And if you can take out just one of those inputs, right, that's not doing good, then you're going to win. I know that for me, and I've mentioned this on the show, it's like whenever there's a little hiccup in how things are going, alcohol is like the first thing to go. Whether it's body composition or, I want to get faster if I'm running or whatever it is, it's such an easy thing to kick out. But honestly, I think one of the reasons it is because I was totally straight edge until college. Actually, growing up, a few kids close to me, a few years older, were busted at a party, lost all of their scholarships, couldn't go to college.
Wow.
So for me growing up and having an older brother who struggled with addiction, it was easy. But then once I got to college, I learned a lot of bad habits. And I went to an Ivy League school, and at these schools, drinking can be very entrenched. And also, they teach you how to drink because if you can't, basically, this is the thinking that they tell you anyway. If you go into consulting or banking to pay off your loans, like most people have to, right? You have to learn how to drink because otherwise, someone's going to drink you under the table and take advantage of you. And so you better learn how to drink. And it's like, how did that work on everybody? You know, it's like now I'm in my 30s. Back then, I mean, we all totally fell for it. We all totally went nuts with it. Why does that happen?
A very smart marketer somewhere in history decided to associate alcohol with a good time. And then very smart marketers today continue to perpetuate the idea that alcohol is a good time. So we see it. Like if you're watching football on a Sunday, all the commercials are Bud Light, Coors Light. And what do the commercials have? They have these goofy guys having fun together, doing silly things, and it's creating this idea that if you drink this product, you will be part of a tribe. You will be part of a community. This is just what fun people do to create bonds, to create kinship, to create fun and you know, feel like you're part of a community. We see it there's a billboard on Sunset Boulevard. Actually, George Clooney, very famous Hollywood actor, he actually created a tequila brand with Randy Gerber, which is like $1 billion evaluation. But there's this billboard on Sunset Boulevard, and it has him in a black leather jacket on his motorcycle, looking back, looking super cool, super suave, and then there's just the bottle of tequila, as if to imply if you drink this tequila, you are cool and you are suave and you're sophisticated. When you see hotels and vacation packages promoting their products, it's always an image of a man and a woman over a candlelit dinner toasting a glass of red wine. Who says that you have to have the glass of wine in order to have a romantic dinner? You just take out the wine and you have a romantic dinner.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, like candlelight and wine, it just goes together. In the American psychology, I don't know if that's true everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also weddings or celebrations, right? What happens at a wedding? Guess what? We toast the bride and groom. And what do? We do it with champagne.
Right.
So the smiling assassins come round and they pour champagne and we hold up and we say, to the bride and groom. Now, a very clever marketer at a champagne company somewhere in history came up with the idea, let's associate champagne with celebration. So you think about it, you have a boat race. It's like, oh, let's celebrate with champagne.
Yep.
You win a football, the Premier League title. I remember seeing shots of Michael Jordan when he won.
I remember that too, yeah. The cigar and the champagne.
Exactly. Now, somebody created the idea that if we have this monumental moment in our life, like a child being born or we win a sporting event or something monumental happens, let's pop a cork and celebrate with champagne and drink this poison. And let's drink this toxins. Let's do that. Somebody very clever came up with that. And now, in today's world, we associate that. We associate this toxic liquid that we willingly pour down our throats and into our body that causes us all this disruption. And we do it with a big smile on our face because we've been indoctrinated for decades that that's just what you do.
Yeah.
That's just what you do. And so you see it everywhere now. Like all of a sudden you start to open your eyes and you go, oh my goodness, this is everywhere. I mean, it's literally everywhere. People pushing this product on you.
Oh man, talk about the assassins. I'd be playing shows and if I'd be up on stage and people would be bringing me shots all night long. And then they call you names. They totally razz you if you're not taking them. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the razzing, especially, I'm sure it happens for women as well, but especially for men. Men can be ostracized so easily for not drinking, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I used to play rugby. I played rugby for 20 years. And when I first moved to Los Angeles, I played for the Los Angeles Rugby Club. And we had an after-match pub called Sharky's on Manhattan Beach, a very famous pub down there in Manhattan Beach about
I remember Sharky's.
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes south of LAX and the airport there. And if I was unfortunate enough to be the MVP that game, my reward was chugging a big pitcher of beer with all of my teammates going, chug, 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 chug. And I'm like, this is what you get for being the best player on the damn field. This sucks, And then I'd go outside and I'd be sick or I couldn't drive home that night because I drank too much. I'm like, this is no reward. Like this is a nightmare, but it's hazing, yeah. And people don't actually realize, just the cost. And it's not just the physical cost. There's a financial cost. And when I say financial cost, I don't mean the money that you spend on alcohol. I mean, currently I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and executives in a coaching program where I help people quit drinking for at least 90 days. It's called Project 90. And when they're first joining, I ask them, how much money do you make in a year in your business? And often they'll tell me. And let's just use this example, okay? I'll just come up with a hypothetical figure.
Sure.
Let's just say you earn $100,000 a year with your drinking habits the way they are. And let's say, and how efficient and productive are you in your work and your career? Now, most people will say, I'm probably at about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And I'll say, okay, great. So you operating at a 6 or a 7 out of 10, you make $100,000 a year. And then I say, well, let's just say that you were alcohol-free for at least 90 days and you had clarity, focus, energy, you were strategic, you got more done, you slept better, and you were just rocking on all cylinders. How would you feel? How efficient would you be? And they say, I'd probably be like an 8 or a 9. I'll say, okay, so at a 6 out of 10, you're making $100,000. How much money do you think you'd generate for yourself if you were operating at a 9 out of 10? And then they'll often tell me, it ranges. Some people say the amount of money they would generate would be double. Some people say it's half. But let's just say it's $150,000 instead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between $100,000 and $150,000 is $50,000. So your drinking is costing you $50,000 a year in revenue or income that you do not generate because of your drinking habits. Now, that's not even including what you spend on alcohol and alcohol-related activities.
Which adds up
As well. So at least $50,000. So if you're listening or watching and you're thinking about this, do the math. I call it the alcohol lost revenue calculation or calculator, ALRC, the alcohol lost revenue calculator.
Painful, but worth it.
I mean, your drinking is costing you $50,000, at least in that scenario.
Sure. And it sounds, maybe if you're not an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, that sounds a little nuts. But as an entrepreneur, speaking to another one, that's totally how it works. And I would even argue that maybe if you're at that 9 out of 10, then you have a little jump in your step, a little sparkle. People want to cooperate with you. People want to work with you. Opportunities start coming your way. That's a real thing. It really is.
It's a massive thing. I mean, this is the only thing that happened to me when I quit drinking was that I hosted at Sports Center on ESPN. I started a program called the 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge, which has now helped tens of thousands of people around the world quit alcohol. I started a sleep company called Swanwick Sleep, which helps people sleep better.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that too.
I got to speak on stages, travel the world. I all of a sudden became super health conscious and got to meet amazing people doing incredible things in the world. I raised money for charities. I attracted incredible relationships. I have a much greater connection with my family and friends. I'm a much better communicator. I mean, not much happened when I quit alcohol.
Well, another like a physical body type thing that happens for me, at least it happens with Allison as well. Like if you have your habits nailed pretty well and you know what's healthy, then you can follow them and stay pretty healthy and maintain your weight, maintain your body composition. If you're drinking, I have to work harder. It's like if I'm in that phase when I'm drinking, I need to do some calculations. I need to like work that out. If I'm not, then I can have an extra slice of Boston cream pie when I want to, and I can color outside the lines a little bit more and get away with it and not feel that disruption in sleep in particular. That to your point, it's not like you wake up tired every time. It's like by 10:30, you need something. And by 3 o'clock, you need something. And by the end of the day, you need something to help yourself unwind. And that's what it gets you out of, right? It's like you get that decent sleep. It's not even the best sleep in the world or whatever. If you're not drinking, you don't need the best sleep in the world. It's already better. And so you're just kind of like cruising through your day and you have that extra RAM, you have that extra energy to use and apply towards something. It's measurable, but you can't just do it for 3 days. You can't just do it for a week. It has to, I think in your book, you say it's at least 7 to 10 days for most of the toxins to leave the system. And I give it 2 weeks. It's like, I don't consider myself thinking rationally about alcohol until I haven't been drinking for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like, otherwise
Yeah.
you will want it at 5 o'clock every day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It takes 7 to 10 days for the toxins from alcohol to be out of your system completely. That's pretty crazy. 7 to 10 days. It actually stays in your hair follicles for up to 30 days, which I found really interesting.
Yeah. Well, you don't have
I'm
to
not-
worry about that.
No, I don't know. I shaved all my hair off. I couldn't fight it any longer.
It's a good look, especially with the Swannies. So before we do have a little bit more time, but I want to make sure that we talk about those because blocking glasses, blue blocking software, this is stuff that I've been into for 7 or 8 years now. In fact, my wife Allison was a professional video game player, and those blue blocking glasses of various kinds were kind of a small niche thing for a while. So we've been nerding out on this for a while, and I was really psyched when you started up the Swannies. And I think actually I've got the case right here, but my wife stole mine. So tell us a little bit about why it's important to manage the light, especially in the age of devices that we live in.
Yeah, well, let's talk about sleep and how it affects your sleep. So
Yeah.
too much light at night affects your sleep. So each night, if you are looking at your cell phone, watching TV, you're working on the computer, even if you brush your teeth in the bathroom light, that light is enough to compromise your sleep quality. Now, what it actually does, light at night, I mean electronic light and artificial blue light that comes from your screens and from light bulbs and things like that, that light tricks your body and brain into thinking that it's daytime. And it does this by stimulating your pituitary and pineal glands. Now, when your body thinks that it's daytime, even though that it's nighttime, it does not produce the melatonin that nature intended you to produce.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that a lot of people either have trouble falling asleep, or they toss and turn in the night, or they wake up feeling tired and lethargic, even if they've had 7 or 8 hours sleep, without realizing that the culprit for their poor sleep quality has been simply exposing yourself to too much light at night. So what can we do about that? Now, I'm wearing a pair of my Swannie's blue light blocking glasses. I produce these and I create these. Now, the orange lens blocks out artificial blue light. Orange is the exact opposite color of blue. Blue is the opposite color of orange. Blue light cannot penetrate. So what I do is I put my Swannie's blue light blocking glasses on about in the last hour before I want to go to sleep. And then I will continue to look in my cell phone, work on the computer sometimes, brush my teeth in the bathroom light. And only once I've crawled into bed and switched off the final light do I remove the glasses, and then I roll over and I go to sleep. What you don't want to do is wear the glasses for like the last hour, and then in the last 5 minutes, remove them, go into the bathroom. Now you're exposing yourself to that bathroom light, which is tricking your body and brain into thinking it's daytime, which is now suppressing your melatonin production, which is now waking up your body and making you think that it's daytime, and now your sleep quality is compromised again. So wearing these glasses in that last hour before sleep can have a profound impact on your sleep quality. And certainly wearing them sporadically throughout the daytime when you're on a computer can filter out a lot of that blue light and give you extra clarity and focus and reduce your eye strain, your fatigue, and your and headaches sometimes.
Yeah, and I've been using various glasses, including Swannies, for a while, and it's really helpful for me. I've always, like, I'm looking at a big light right now. When I'm recording or on stage, I kind of just put up with a small headache because I'm very sensitive to light. And actually, I went through the whole Erlin program, and I have those as well.
Nice.
And did all the testing, and I was really surprised by how painful the testing was, how obvious it was that I was struggling through certain things with glossy paper, with certain fluorescent lights, and all of that, whether it's nighttime or not. And so especially, working in front, whenever I'm not on camera, I'm wearing glasses pretty much, even though I don't need, it's just blue blocking glasses. I don't need actual glasses. And Allison does that as well. And I can really attest to that. And also, sleep sounds boring. Getting more sleep, yeah, whatever. I can handle living without sleep. But like melatonin is pretty cool. Like if you don't want to get cancer, get some melatonin. And the way that you get that is by honoring your sleep and honoring, like you said, the kind of pre-sleep ritual or process that we all have, which, if we're going to be honest, is kind of arbitrary. We all brush our teeth and go into the bathroom and turn the lights on or whatever, as automatically as we could go in and have our glasses on and do it, right? Like, it's not really adding that much complication. And I can definitely say that it makes a big difference. You squint immediately if you take them off and you make that mistake, right? So what else is it doing?
Yeah, well, the light is if that light is triggering you and you're not sleeping well, it's been linked to obesity, diabetes, and cancer. So if you're someone who's trying to lose weight, for example, and you're going to the gym and you're eating all the right foods and you're doing all that kind of stuff, but you're still frustrated that you can't lose an extra 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it is, there's a good chance it's because you're exposing yourself to too much light at night. Mm-hmm. So too much light at night is keeping you, I don't want to say fat, but it's keeping, it's slowing down your metabolism. It's reducing your ability to be able to burn fat. And also, if your sleep is compromised, like we talked about before, then guess what? Now you're going to reach for more of a pick-me-up, like a sugary food. You're more likely to drink a juice in the morning or something, which has got a lot of sugar in it, and now you're storing more fat. Same thing with the alcohol. It causes irritability, if you're not sleeping well. On the flip side, if you sleep well and you do block light at night, then you wake up in the morning the way that nature intended you to wake up. I mean, I'm not saying that by wearing the Swannies that will give you additional superpowers. I'm just saying by wearing the Swannies, you will have the powers that nature intended you to have all along.
Yeah.
Which is clarity and focus,
yes,
and energy and connection, and your metabolism working the way it's supposed to be working. I mean, your show is literally the fat burning man, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you want to burn fat? You want to be the fat burning man or the fat burning woman? Block blue light at night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. We just create these. I mean, look, technology is amazing. I love my iPhone. It's a spaceship in my pocket. Yeah. Like, it does so much stuff. I love it. And, I don't watch much, if any, TV. I mean, I did have watched Game of Thrones, I must admit.
Sure.
But I'll tell you, I love all of that technology, but I'm using all of that technology now by blocking blue light with a pair of glasses. Here's one other thing I would say as well. And of course I'm biased because I produced the Swannies glasses, but I deliberately make my glasses stylish and cool because people don't want to look like a meth chemist wearing an ugly pair of blue light blocking glasses.
I've got some right here.
Have you got an ugly pair? Put them on.
I mean, take your pick. We've got this one. They're all dirty, but you can see how much I use them and try different kinds, right? It's mostly just because I want them around, right? It's like, if you don't have it right there, you're not going to use it. And so it's important to have them around. Oh, here we go.
Have you got some aviators like mine?
These ones are actually Erlin's.
Oh, good. Nice one.
And I can just I can offer another thing that happened when I started wearing them. Like, right now, looking into this iMac and looking into this light, I feel like I'm looking into a lamp, because I am. If you're watching TV, you're looking at a lamp. If you're on your computer, you're on your phone or whatever, it's a source of light that's beaming into your eyes. When you start wearing blue blocking glasses like this, it almost turns everything into an even plane, right? Where it's not popping out and kind of jabbing you in the eyes anymore. It's like you can look at it and read as if it were a book. Not exactly, right, but it's more like a book. It's not this thing that's popping out at you as much. And for me, that makes a big difference, because if it feels like it's popping out, it almost feels like a psychological subliminal threat in some way, because it is. It's unprecedented. Our bodies are not designed for this. None of these lights are good for our bodies. They're just there because they're in technology right now.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you're staring into your computer screen, or you're looking in your iPhone or your Android or whatever you have, you're literally staring into a mini sun. Mm-hmm. It's a mini sun. Mm-hmm. Okay, and yet we're all doing it. So there's a couple things I've noticed about our devices. One is, do you notice how much more we're looking down? Like when you look at a phone, your head moves down, and it's something crazy. Like for every 2 centimeters or something that you look down, it adds an extra 10 pounds of pressure on your spine or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's crazy. And also, so there's that. And then also you're staring into that mini sun, and that is blasting artificial blue light. Artificial blue light.
Right.
Artificial. That's my Australian accent. Artificial. Candlelight is fine. Candlelight flame is beautiful. And think about it. For centuries, tens of thousands of years, we would wake up, we would go and do our work and live out in the sun. We'd go and hunt a bear or kill some animals, or we'd forage. And then the sun would go down and we'd light a fire and we'd sit around the fire, and then we would go to sleep. And we did that for centuries. Here's where it turned. Thomas Edison mass-produced the light bulb in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And that was the moment where our whole life changed, because now we were staying up later than we ever did. And now we're staring into artificial man-made light that isn't candlelight, which now we know, stimulates our pituitary and pineal glands and compromises our sleep. 2007 was another monumental year where everything changed, and that was the year that Steve Jobs released the iPhone.
Yeah,
that was so the phones, a little bit of light, we used the phones, but now as soon as that iPhone came out in 2007, we spent hours and hours and hours on that device. So now we're staring into artificial light all day, which nature never intended us to do, and that's causing headaches, eye strain, macular degeneration. It's compromising our sleep. It's causing us to store fat, causing us to be irritable. Relationships are suffering, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So first step is awareness. Second step is just block the blue light any way you can. Love it.
Now, before we started recording, you were mentioning that you're doing some fasting experiments right now. So let us know how those are going.
Yeah, I've just done 3 24-hour fasts in a row.
Oh, it's in a row?
Yeah,
I
in a row.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, back to back. So
yeah.
I had my last meal at 6:37, and I went 24 hours, and then I went to a Thai restaurant and I ate for Australia. I represented Australia in the World Eating Championships. I ordered 3 meals and ate it all. Felt really, really good. And then I woke up the next day and said, I'll just do another one. So I continued on, went to the same Thai restaurant the next night and ordered another 3 and ate. And now I'm just completing my third one.
Are you having Thai tonight?
You know what? I thought I might change it up a little bit.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what's happened. It's amazing to me how after the second one, I noticed how much tighter I was around my belly, Like I've just noticed like it has burnt literally in like 48 hours. It's like my whole body just went woo, and just kind of like tightened up. So I've noticed I've burned fat for sure. It was uncomfortable around lunchtime for me. I was like, that's ordinarily when I would eat. Like I can skip breakfast, but around lunchtime I was like, I kind of want to eat. But I pushed through, a little bit irritable, like around 2 until 4. But then
who isn't though?
Yeah. But then what was really interesting was that from 4 until 7 when I ate again, wow, I was in the zone. Like I noticed I had a lot of clarity and I had energy and I had singular focus. And strangely, I lost my hunger. In fact, when I went to the Thai place and sat down, I feel like I could have gone to sleep that night without eating.
Yeah.
It was all just like, I've gone 24 hours, I best eat now that I ate food. Now, when I ate the food, it was delicious and I ate a lot. But it was funny, in the moments before I actually ordered the food, I was like, actually, I don't have the hunger anymore. So anyway, it's given me clarity, focus, energy. I've definitely burnt fat. I feel tighter. And, I know that there are monumental health benefits from it that maybe I'm not even aware of right now.
Sure, even science isn't. It's amazing how much good you can do by doing nothing or abstaining, right? Like you don't need this magical pill or this magical product. There's so much that you can do just by taking a break from whatever, whether it's food, alcohol, technology. We all need a break. Like more than ever, we're just assaulted right? By all these things that we're not designed for. So I think one of the reasons that people are so into meditation, mindfulness, and all of that is because we just all need a break. You know, you don't need to meditate. You don't need to cross your legs or anything. Just take a little break from all of this stuff. I think that's kind of the point from today's interview. But before we go, I want to make sure that you have a chance to talk a little bit more about the 30-day no alcohol challenge, as well as the Swannies and anything else you might be working on.
Yeah, thank you. If you're interested in quitting alcohol for 30 days and maybe longer, you can check out 30daynoalcoholchallenge.com. And you can also grab my book. You can go on Amazon and just type in 30-day no alcohol challenge and you'll find my book there. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or executive and you're wanting to quit drinking for at least 90 days, I have a program called Project 90, which has helped entrepreneurs, make more money and reconnect with their family and lose weight and all that kind of good stuff. You can just go to jamesswanwick.com/project90. And with the Swannie's glasses, the company's called Swanwick Sleep. So you can check it out at swanwicksleep.com or on Amazon. We sell them. We've got aviators and women's glasses and cat eyes. We've got glasses for kids too. We didn't talk about that actually. Children are actually the most susceptible to the dangers of blue light.
Yeah.
As we mature and age through adolescence and adulthood, we actually have more of a natural barrier to blue light. But kids who are on, iPads all day and playing video games, they're actually doing long-term damage to their eyes. And they've done studies that actually show that kids' grades suffer at school because of this overuse of screens and electronics. So yeah, we've got kids styles over at swanwicksleep.com as well. And I just to wrap it up, I would just say, look, even if you don't want to quit alcohol and you think that's too much of a step, just quit for 30 days and just get a glimpse of what it feels like. And I would be shocked if you didn't feel amazing, have more clarity, energy, focus, be more productive, have better relationships. And block as much light as you can at nighttime, because if you're not sleeping well, your whole life is just a 6 out of 10. You might not be in the gutter or like rock bottom or anything like that. You might just be average. Things might be average. But do you want to be average, or do you want to just live the way that nature intended you to live, which is outstanding? I've made my choice. I don't know about you, Abel. I think you've made your choice too.
Yeah, I think you're in good company, my friend. You can hear it in your voice. You can see it in your face. You've got that jump in your step, and it's rare these days. So, it's not that hard, right? It's just a matter of being disciplined about it and doing it, avoiding that blue light, making sure you're getting decent sleep, you're treating your body well. We should all be doing this. And since we're the minority and we're all flukes, we need to band together as much as possible. So, James, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate the work you're doing.
Abel, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
This episode is brought to you by listeners like you and Future Greens. You want my number one health tip right now? Get your greens in every single day. I've been getting my greens on every day for coming up on, almost every day, let's be honest, for coming up on almost 10 years now, and I believe it makes a monumental difference to my health, performance, and overall well-being. Why? Well, most of us eat too many acidic foods like meat, dairy, or sugar and other junk carbs, leading to an unbalanced pH level in the body and more than our fair share of toxins. I don't know if you've ever tried greens supplements, but most of them taste terrible, like fish tank. And if it doesn't taste good, I won't drink it, no matter how good it is for me, especially if you're talking every day. There are tons of supplements out there packed with cheap fats, sugar, fillers, and caffeine, but we have a much better option if you're looking to increase your energy and your health. So when Allison and I are on the road, we always take Future Greens. Future Greens is a concentrated superfood powder made from 15 organic fruits and vegetables, plus 6 additional superfoods, as well as digestive enzymes. So in less than 60 seconds, you can get the nutrition of over 20 fruits, veggies, and adaptogens, all with less than 1 gram of sugar. Future Greens is packed with vitamins, minerals, and filling prebiotic fiber from whole, organic veggies, sprouts, algae, and berries, including kale, beet, parsley, collard greens, cauliflower sprouts, broccoli sprouts, spirulina, chlorella, blueberries, raspberries, and much more. Imagine the time and expense it would take you to buy and prepare all those foods separately. Trust us, we've tried, and Future Greens makes it a heck of a lot easier. Our ingredients are harvested at peak freshness and potency and immediately concentrated and dried using cool temperature processes that preserve the energetic and nutritional integrity of all the ingredients. Whether you're looking to strengthen your immunity, cleanse your system of toxins, alkalize your body, diversify your diet, or boost your energy without caffeine, Future Greens is your new best friend. And as a listener of Fat Burning Man, you can get a 20% discount to try Future Greens yourself. So to get Future Greens from Wild Superfoods and your special Fat Burning Man deal, just visit fatburningman.com/greens to get 20% off when you subscribe and save. On top of that, you'll get an extra bonus that I can't even tell you about right now, but just visit fatburningman.com/greens. We'll see you there. Well, hey there, listener. This is Abel one more time, and I just want to say thank you for listening to this episode of the Fat Burning Man Show. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you might be listening to or watching this show right now. And if you have a second, please leave me a quick review for the Fat Burning Man Show. I read every single one of them, and every time you leave a review, it gives us a little boost in the rankings, and that helps other people find this show. And if you can think of someone else who might enjoy and benefit from this free show, please take a second to share it with a friend or a family member. And if they're like, what is this Fat Burning Man thing? That's a really silly name. You could be like, you're right, but here's the deal. We've recorded over 250 episodes of the Fat Burning Man Show with thought leaders in health from all over the world. And so far, we've won 4 awards, hitting number 1 in health in more than 8 countries internationally. We have more than 30 million downloads already, but we're just getting started. I can't believe any of this, by the way, and couldn't do any of this without you. So thanks once again. But here's some more good news. You can download and listen to every single episode of the Fat Burning Man Show for free with 0 outside advertisements, no outside sponsors, and no corporate overlords. All you have to do is type in fatburningman.com. I'll give you a second here just to type it in, fatburningman.com. And you'll get all the show notes, transcripts, and video and audio versions for all the past episodes of the Fat Burning Man Show for free. Better yet, enter your email at fatburningman.com, sign up for my newsletter, and I'll even send you a quick start guide so you can take your health into your own hands right now, along with a few of our ridiculously tasty recipes as a special thanks for signing up. Once again, just go to fatburningman.com right now, enter your best email to get your free goodies with a bonus surprise straight to your inbox. This is Abel James signing off. Thank you so much for listening once again, and have a great week.